Unzo gelen jeven drumben go tayen drove rewa gongwe son malu sheja jishen sikben do shaje zo de langue chance Omo mone mone maha mone yeso ha Om 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 mone mone maha mone yeso ha
I emailed you our English translation also. To use the mic today or not? The headset mic or not? We'll begin with the regular small prayer book on page 1, Comments by Choeje Rinpoche.
Shingi Namba Yendende, Gede Laya Cha Salo, Sanye Zala Chan Salo, Gebe Jela Cha Salo, Gede Jela Cha Salo, Suma Tadu Trinase, Shadra Buba Tam Jela, Shindu Kungi Jani Gide, Muda Baye Namgando, Jodo Tebe Cha Salo, Diba Jia Misha Shin, Kewa Buzno Sobacha, Rangi Senge Yonsodo, Dine Sangye Temaye, Kamara Re Mameda, Gyuma Seba Chukoda, Mila Loda Jitabu, Dije Chena Tegrada, Selan Diye Tanje Sebayi, Goba Tonge Genge Jadude, Gada Nadan Chive Lagrube, Sibe Sobe Joa Joa Jo.
Next page, the praise to Manjushri. Lama Dai Hombo Jesu Gambe Yala Salo Tangi Lodru Jinye Jinde Nida Nanda Rasebe Jinye Dungru Jishi Siji Nigi Lukra Lemante Nanda Sibe Zuna Mari Mundon Dunge Gizebe Rozo Nuna Puchi Tase Yela Juju Yanden Soin Ruda Cheru Nyemo Nyemo Legi Charu Rudeche Mari Muse Dunge Nyugu Jinye Chuzere Yene Kaji Saju Tazo Yene Ruzo Yase Dugu Chura Chuta Chuni Yemre Dalo Muse Chambe Yamadu Zende Kyuji Kera Vesegi Dalu Dimu Mimba Rasene Kadan Dinju Chulu Dohayi Next page, the heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra.
Aba Kunjo Sumla Cha Salo Dige Dage Durban Du Jina Jumden De Yabu Ka Chabu Kumbu De Langi Mongi Gindu Chimbo Tang Chanju Sembe Gindu Chimbo Tang Tachi Du Yeze Jumden De Samu Nangwa Shi Chewe Chuye Namrangi Dingen Zila Nyumbra Yang Yeze Chanju Semba Semba Chimbo Baba Jere Se Wanju Shiragi Baru Du Chimba Samu Jeba Nila Namba Dashin Pombo Mabo Deda Rangshingi Dombo Namba Tao Tene Sangi Gitu Sedan Demba Shere Bu Chanju Semba Semba Chembo Paba Shere Se Wanju Dige Cheme Sori Jebu Kanla La Shira Ye Baru Do Chimba Same Cheba Chuba Deba De Chidra Laba Cha Dige Cheme Bada Chanju Semba Semba Chembo Paba Shere Se Wanju Ye Sedan Demba Shere Tade Buddha Dige Mezo Shari Bu Rigi Bu Rigi Bu Mokala La Shira Ye Barudo Chimba Same Chiba Chiba Deba Dida Namba Tawa Chade Pumbo Mabo Dida Layan Rashingi Dumba Namba Yanda Ban Jisu Dawo Su Dumba Wo Dumba Ni Su Sule Dumba Ni Shema Yi Dumba Ni Le Yang Su Shema Yi Nu Ti Shindu Surwa Dan Du She Dan Du She Dan Nambra Sheba Nam Dumba Shari Bu Dida Chutam Je Dumba Ni De Sinye Meba Ma Ye Ba Ma Ba Shima Meba Shima Dan Sheba Meba 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 Wo Shari Bu Dida Dumba Ni La Su Me So Wa Men Du She Men Du She Men Nambra Sheba Me Mi Me Na Wa Me Na Me She Me Lu Me Yi Me Su Me Ja Me Chi Me Ro Me Ri Ja Me Che Me Do Mi Ge Ka Me Da Yi Ge Ka Me Yi Ge Nambra Shebe Kham Ge Ba Do Ya Me Do Ma Ri Ba Me Ma Ri Ba Se Ba Me Ba Ne Ga She Me Ga She Se Be Ba Do Ya Me Do Si Shin Do Tu Me Wa Da Kun Jong Wa Da
Obada Lame Yeshime Doba Me
Madoba Yame Dojare Bo Denavena Chanju Sembanam Toba Me Benchire Shirage Barodo Chimbala Denje Nede Sema Diba Chaba Me De Shije Dole Shindo Dene Nyangele Debe Tara Shindo Tuzumdo Nambra Shube Sangye Shirage Barodo Chimbala Dene Nana Me Bayanda Bonzo Be Chanju Do Nambra Zoba Sangye So Dedavena Shirage Barodo Chimbe Nga Riba Chimbe Nana Mebe Nga Minyam Bada Nyambe Nga Dunga Tamche Hardo Shivra Chebe Nga Mizembe Nandemba Shiva Jade Shirage Barado Chimbe Beba Deyata Gade Gade Para Gade Para Sammo Gade Budi Soha Sharibu Chanju Semba Semba Tela Shirage Barado Chimba Sammo Lava Chao Dene Chumde Tinge Zindele Shinde Chanju Semba Semba Chimbo Baba Chere Sewanjo Lexo Shichawan Jine Lexo Lexo Rige Bo Tete Shino Rige Bo Tete Shinde Chidra Kyuge Temba Shirage Parudo Shimba Samola Jeba Jate Tishin Sheba Naya Jesu Iramo Shumten Dege Dege Jeka Zene Zedan Temba Share Date Chanju Semba Semba Jembo Papa Chere Sewanjo Dan Tamche Dan Tembe Kuro Teta Dan Lada Mida Lama Shiza Jebe Jikten Irande Chumden Dege Sumbala Mamparato Deya Ta Gade Gade Para Samgade Bodhi Soha Haba Kunjo Sungi Kaye Debe Soki Midumbe Cho Tangje Chere Doba Gyuji Meba Gyuji Jiwa Gyurunji Gere Tonga Gyuji Shina Midunebe Gendan Jewa Dan Tumbaran Rupje Muzumuzu Tashi Dejan Tintin Debe Sho
before that? One over? One over. What page?
12.
Page 12. For those that online, you just continue with the requesting mandala offering. English verse on the following page.
Sanje sumba rabdo shishin dewen gyuryo deda shige tambe chunye chene dershe shi amo la yege dandu dandu chunye rupon tanami yege nanga dhuwa kunye dhanam je zamba tamje ge do nage chodun to tange denjen dewa zhunga ho meba ki meba cheba meba ta meba onwa meba dro meba ta de dun me dun je me Choeje Nye Shi Shi De Wan Zobe Sangye Manam Gi Tamba De La Cha Tse Lo Okay. Today we are going to learn something very important in the practice of the spiritual development. One of the most important thing on the practice is to make our practice more successful and smooth, and also when our practice become more smooth and successful, then we starting to enjoy it. And when we starting to enjoy our practice, then just kind of like the result is kind of like we become more and more open to it. The more we are open to our practice, then just kind of like we are getting the genuine experience of the practice. So, but in our practice, sometimes it doesn't go smooth. It doesn't, there is always a little bit of obstacles. There are always some sort of a challenge. There's some sort of difficulties and hardship. And many of these hardships and the challenges are actually coming as a result of some negative karma that we have collected in our many past lives. And not only past life, I think even during this life, sort of we collected or accumulate or involve into many negative activities. And so somehow when we actually have these imprints of our negative actions in our mind or in our consciousness, sometimes that creates difficulties, that create obstacles, that create challenges. So then how can we remove all these obstacles? How can we actually remove all the imprints from our negativity? Is it possible? That's a big question, right? Can we actually purify our negative karma? If I put it in a very simple language, can we purify? Can we, wash away our negative karma? Then the good news is yes. So yes, we can purify. Yes, we can, wash away our negative karma. And so kind of like that same question actually was raised during the time of Buddha Shakyamuni too. Like, Buddha talks a lot about law of cause and karma. Like, so he talks about how, like, there are so many miseries and sufferings, and how each individual, how they face challenges, difficulties, and how they experience many sort of like, unnecessary sufferings. And then Buddha actually went on to go, okay, because this is the result of the previous karma. And then, this previous karma, so and so. So he was very clear about, okay, during that time in the past, he did something or she did something like this. And now, as a result of this life, they are actually experiencing this. So he tells a lot about the detail of how the karma work. Like how the positive karma brings a positive result, and negative karma brings the negative result, and so on. And so this question actually was raised during the time of Buddha, that so how can we actually get over our karma, negative karma? So this is the teaching today I'm going to give, because we are very fortunate that our historical Buddha Shakyamuni actually kind of like said that there is a method, there is a way that we can actually purify. And so this Pumbu Sumbe Do, which means actually Pumbu means heaps, right, like a pile. Sumba means three. So Three Pile Sutra, sort of like it is the name of this sutra, and this is the scripture. So in that scripture, Buddha actually mentioned how to purify. So this is sort of like these three piles or three heaps. What are the three heaps actually? Is like of course there is a confession, right? There's a confession as a one heap, sort of like you can actually purify your negative karma with this confession practice. And then there is another one. The second pile is called the Jesu Yirangwa, means the practice of rejoicement. Practice of rejoicement, that is the second pile. And then third pile is like the, what do you call, dedication. Dedicating your virtuous, sort of like, so these 3 point was mentioned in this sutra, in this 3 pile sutra. And so basically, like when we actually, how can we purify is there are a lot of things or the condition needs, but there is one very simple actually sort of like if you have all the conditions are there, then when you apply the real sort of antidote or remedy, then somehow it will kind of clear away many of the negative karma. But then just kind of like it also said in this sutra that there are like a Buddha Shakyamuni actually mentioned 35 Buddha's name. So these are very sacred Buddha's name that somehow, of course, the question will be like, why 35, right? It's like but actually it's just kind of like there are infinite enlightened being in the universe, but out of all these infinite Buddhas or enlightened beings, so somehow there are 35 specific Buddha that they have prayed in when their journey towards the enlightenment. So somehow their specific prayer was that there are many sentient beings going through experience or challenges or hardship with their negative karma. So they actually bless their name with the prayer, saying that when I become enlightened, may my name will become a purification. Sort of like so, like an enlightened being, different enlightened being will make a different prayer and bless their name. So somehow these 35 Buddha actually, when before they enlighten, somehow they bless their name and saying that whoever hear my name, this the enlightened being's name or the name of this Tathagata. So then they and they also made a specific prayer. They make a specific prayer that may like how many years of maybe a trillions of years of their negative karma be washed away, or sometimes they say one eons one eons collected karma of one eons may be purified. So this each Buddha actually made a specific prayer. So that is why sometimes it is just kind of important to know, maybe there all the enlightened being has the same power, they all have the same, they can bless all sentient beings, but sometimes kind of when the individual become enlightened, before they become enlightened, there is a lot of kind of prayers that they make. And many of them actually, there are some specific prayer, such as for example, like a medicine Buddha, right? Medicine Buddha, before, there's kind of when he blessed his name by saying, my name will be connected to the healing power, right? So that is why sort of when we need some healing and then kind of things, we pray to the medicine Buddha and we say the name of the medicine Buddha and things like that. So this 35 Buddha is a very kind of interesting name that Buddha Shakyamuni actually sort of he connected with the different enlightened, and then he collected sort of these 35 Buddha who are very blessed, their name by merely hearing their name. And then of course, if they, if by doing a prostration, by doing an offering, then, the kind of it become more and more better actually, right? But just kind of generally it says just merely hearing their name, some sort of it leaves a huge imprint of kind of a potential or imprints that help us to purify our negative karma. So that is today in the Phungbu Sumbe Do, Three Heaps, sutra or scripture, that these 35 Buddhas' names were mentioned, and then doing the prostration. And so there is a lot of detail to learn actually how to do this practice. There are so many details, but I think in this short period of time, maybe we cannot learn the whole thing, but I will try to explain it or summarize it so that make it a little bit kind of simple. So maybe I will try to simplify the meaning of this. And then we will also receive the oral transmission of this sutra that I was fortunate to be able to receive this from my master, Choeje Rinpoche, the previous Pana Rinpoche. It was kind of like almost in the beginning when I became Rinpoche, at the age of 16, and then I went to Dharamsala to get first audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then of course His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave me the first teaching, which is on sort of like a Gandhian Phagya, and then Manjushri, and give me some kind of like a very sacred, sort of like a private or personal instruction on how to practice Manjushri, and that was, and right after that, then I came to, somebody told me that there was this one great master who spent all his lives almost like in the cave and doing the meditation, who was inspired by the Milarepa, and his teacher was the Choeje, what do you call it, Choeje Rinpoche, who was a very famous what do you call, meditator, or the person who went into the retreat. So he was somehow there, in Dharamsala, and I heard about him a little bit, but I didn't know much about him. And that time I went to see him and requested an oral transmission. So he was very kind that actually he gave the whole oral transmission of the Choeje, the things, like all kind of like this whole book was written as a Choeje. Choeje means a daily sort of like a daily like a routine prayer. And so in those prayers, of course, the Three Heaps Sutra is one of the main, chanting that in our monastic system, we do that as on our regular basis. So, that time I received the oral transmission of that from Choeje Rinpoche, and so I will be happy to give this oral transmission today, to hand it over to you. So, and my lineage, Choeje Rinpoche, of course, he has a very pure, genuine lineage from his master, and then we can totally trust, like the lineage master. So it will go all the way to the Shakyamuni Buddha. So we will have that opportunity today, and so these 35 Buddha Tathagatas, their sacred name is mentioned here, and but in the sutra itself, like even when we recite in our daily practice, it is just the name, and then doing the paying homage, the prostration to them. That's just kind of like when we do the chanting, it just go really fast, right? Just kind of. But I think there are a lot of things that we can actually focus on. That we can actually do the like a prostration, and then make the offerings, and then ask for the blessings. There's like a in the Tibetan, sometimes when we go into detail, it goes into like a chaselo, choto, kyapsu chewo, like chingilab, like there are a few words that we add. But I think, and even though it is not in the text, just kind of like we should feel that from just kind of deep heart. It's just many times it says that when you say those prayer, it should not be just merely out of your mouth thing. It should be, it should come out of feelings. So you have to have some kind of feeling. If it just kind of to make our recitation and the chanting more effective, is if you add the feeling to it. If you add a feeling to it, then kind of like it comes to life. If it is just a chanting without any feelings, or without any understanding or wisdom, or without motivation, so if all these conditions are not there, then maybe there are some benefit to it, but it is not a complete. To make our sort of like a recitation and the chanting complete, you have to apply. I think the most important thing is to add feeling to it. So, with the feeling. So anyway, this 35 Buddha practice is very also we use that for Ngondro. Like many times when people go into a long retreat, there's a Ngondro. Like Ngondro means preliminary practice. That there is some sort of like rules that when you do the Ngondro practice, you have to do 100,000 each, sort of like 100,000 prostration, 100,000 mandala offering, 100,000 like what do you call yikya, which is the 100 syllable mantra. Sort of like there are few set of 100,000 collection or the accumulations, so somehow like our great master Lama Tsongkhapa, when he actually did the Ngondro, when he did the retreat, he specifically did a lot of prostration. There's like I don't know exactly the number how many did, but it is just way over 100,000, I think. So, but anyway, like there is a very beautiful tradition that came from him. Maybe in the past, maybe many masters will do that same thing, but he made it more public, sort of, like, So what he did was just reciting each name of the Buddha, of the 35, Buddha. So then just kind of like doing the prostration on each Buddha like a number of times. So from there, sort of like now these days, even like in the monastic system, like some people who want to do the Ngondro, when they want to collect 100,000 prostration. So 100,000 prostration is a kind of not an easy one, because it is to do the full body prostration. So the full body prostration is a kind of like a little bit hard on body. You have to have some kind of healthy body. If you have not a good knees or not a good back, I think it is a little bit difficult to actually do the prostration, like a full body prostration. But anyway, people who actually go into this retreat, sort of like a Ngondro, when they are accumulating 100,000 prostration, that time, so they actually, these 35 Buddha, reciting each Buddha's name, maybe 3,000, 3,000 each Buddha's, prostration by reciting, focusing on each Buddha. Like, so then, like 35 Buddhas there are, right? So 35 Buddhas, which makes 105,000, right? 105,000 prostration when you complete, I don't know, 3,000 each on each Buddha, right? I don't know the math. I'm just not good. That is kind of like I heard it. The people who did it, they did it like, and I asked them when they are doing the 100,000 prostration. I said, so how are you doing with this 35 Buddhas? And they, they said that like I think that is 3,000 each Buddha. And then like if it is 105, right? And then just then 3,000, they actually kind of focus on doing the prostration to their root guru. So that adds 108, right? So to make it sort of like 108,000 prostration, even though it says 100,000, but people actually do like 108,000 as a, to make it complete kind of set of a prostration. So they actually do practice like that. And then another thing is also this practice is also combined with the 5 Buddha family actually, because when you think of the number 35, so it is actually like if you do the math, 7 times 5 is 35, is that right? 7 times 5 is 35. So actually there are sort of like the number that actually they put is like there is a different color Buddha in these 35 Buddha, right? So sometime that's what I saw that in one of the commentaries of the of this three piles sutra, that but sometime I don't know, in the painting it doesn't match that much, because there is not many clear kind of like explanation of what color of each these Buddhas are. But anyway, but these like 35 Buddha has a 5 different color, a different, like I said, they are not, all of them are not white. So somehow it is just kind of like traditionally, I think it is supposed to have a 7 Buddha that is connected to Vairochana, sort of like having the essence of the Vairochana, which they are, these 7 Buddhas are somehow, it is white color. And then, one set of 7 is the blue color. So their color is blue, which is the essence of the Akshobhya, the Akshobhya Buddha. And then one set that has a 7 Buddha is yellow, which is the Radna Sambhava, sort of like an essence. And then the 4th set of the Buddha, which is a 7, and like a Buddha, they are like the red. And then last one is the green. So the red one is the essence of the Amitabha. And then the green is the essence of the Amoga Siddhi. So that is also like in a more sort of like a highest Yoga Tantra, or the maybe Yoga Tantra, where we actually talk about the 5 Buddha family. So these 35 Buddha is like a 7, each of them 7, 7, 7, sort of like so each 7 is connected to each 5 Buddha family. So that is why they have it 5 different colors in that sort of like so. That is just kind of, I thought maybe I will share that with you, because something maybe we can actually, sometime our mind will ask the question why there is a 35, right? Then maybe there should be some significance. So there is like when we do the sort of like number wise, then it is like a 7, 7, 7, sort of like each Buddha family. So that makes a 7 sort of. But in the like a 35 Buddha, so the principal Buddha is the Shakyamuni Buddha himself. So Shakyamuni Buddha regularly kind of like people also wonder what is the color, like when we visualize. So we always visualize him as in the golden color, right? The serdo. Serdo means kind of golden color. So maybe, I don't know, like then, I also wonder, so is he included in the, which Buddha family? So, of course, this kind of included in the 5, but then from the color wise, maybe Radna Sambhava. So anyway, that is just a side talk of this 35 Buddha. And so this 35 Buddha, like there are a few kind of like, for example, like there is some Buddha name, for example, Tishinshepa Shakyatuba, right? Our historical Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. So then there was in one of the scripture, it says that Sanje Kungi Duka wa Ningma Nga Yudu Jundu Chakwe Sanje wa Shakyatuba La Chatsel. So they put this prostration to the Shakyatuba, like I prostrate to Shakyatuba. And then it says there is a benefit that is mentioned in that sutra, is like just by merely saying the name and hearing the name of this Tathagata, then Keva Titachik means 10,000 eons of negative karma will be purified. So then that is a very good news, right? It's like 10,000 eons, and I think sometime maybe you don't have a kind of, you cannot even imagine what is kalpa, what is eon means. You know, one eon is just kind of like a, the number is so overwhelming. Just to count the, one eon. So it is just like in one eon, maybe if we ask how long is the one eon, and then maybe it will be like if I try to put the human year, like a human, like, this kind of human year, so it will be like maybe many trillions of human years, So then time is just a conception, right? Time is a very interesting concept, but what is the real time? Like every one of us have a different view of time, right? That's just kind of like so there is there are so many different dimensions of time. Like even like sometime like when we think about the present moment. And it's a present moment. What is the present moment? If you really think, present moment has many dimensions. The smallest dimension, it will go into a semi-second. Like the 1 semi-second. Like it's just kind of like if we really go into what is the present moment right now, as soon as you ask this question, just kind of conventional level, that time is gone, right? That time is gone. We just kind of like when you answer what is the present moment, then it is already in the next moment. So if you look at, for example, time like a year, and then within the year there's a month, within the month there's a week, within the week there's a days, and within the days there's an hour, within the hours there's like a minutes, and then within the minutes there's like a second, and within the second there's like semi-seconds, right? And within the semi-second, what do you think? It will just keep on going, right? There's just like a semi-second, sort of like a, so what is the present moment? What do you think? So present moment can have a very, if you look it from that dimension, from a semi-second level point of view, there is a time. But then it can also look it from a yearly point of view. You can look it from a whole kind of like a, evolution year point of view. So then, if you go up into sort of like the higher dimension, the time actually can be the present, just in one present moment. For example, a century can be one present moment, right? Like 100 years of human, so it can be, like a decade or century can be a one present moment, right? So then it's just kind of sometime when you think like that, from this kind of like a 2023 year point of view, then Shakyamuni, right? The Shakyamuni Buddha was like almost 2,500, more than 2,500 years ago. But from this kind of like a point of view, it is a past. But if you look at it from bigger picture, right? Bigger time frame. Now make it like a bigger time frame. So it is like the present moment of the 5,000 years of human. Then within that, like if you look at from that time frame point of view, then like everything that is happening within this 5,000 years is the present moment. So like sometimes when you look at that, you think like, okay, so then, actually I am in this present moment that Shakyamuni Buddha actually came into this planet. So that is, if you look at from that point of view, we are in the same era. So that is like a time, if you look at the time, like it's just kind of like depending on from which angle you are actually looking. And then sometimes, even the present moment can be, within one eon, right? Within one eon, if you are in the same eon, then maybe you can consider from the eon point of view, then it's a big present moment is a very big one, right? So that is why sometimes, it is a little bit overwhelming if you look at, look at the time from a very kind of small frame of mind, right? If you look at the small frame of mind, then time is kind of very what do you call, like that, it will be a little overwhelming to think that 10,000 eons, of the negative karma is but when Buddha teach something, like sometimes he said many eons, the trillions of eons, sort of if you understand how to look at the time like that, then you will actually understand so, and that is why also, depending on how much how much open you are, from which angle or the which frame you are looking, the time is also very different. So mind actually goes into different. So that is why sometimes we can also when some the practitioner, the meditator, when they reach the level of the Tonglam, the path of seeing, like in the some scripture it will say, even in the Mondokye, the Abhisamaya Alankara, there's mentioned something also in the Umajupa, right? The individual who achieved the first bhumi, Satangbo. So when they actually reach the first bhumi, then within 1 second, within 1 second means the a blink of an eye. So it is just like in a blink of an eye, actually they can go to 100 different realms of the 100 different Buddha. Like they can go into the 100 different realm of the 100 different Buddha and listen, they do the prostration and receive teaching from them and do the offering and everything, and within that blink of an eye, they can do that. They have the ability to do that. They gain some sort of ability. So what do you think now? Is this from where we are looking, it almost seems impossible. Right? It's just kind of like you cannot even do one round in this planet with the blink of an eye. So it is people the scientist says that the speed of the light is the fastest. Right? So then there is something mentioned like this, the more faster one. So that something that so for them, how it is possible? How do they do that? Or they stop the time? Or make the blink of an eye for us, but somehow their mind becomes so subtle that actually they go into different dimension. So it is kind of connecting with the different dimension. So we only know from our dimension, just kind of our ordinary senses is designed to experience only one dimension. and then we always think that this is the dimension that we live in, that is it. So, but there are so many different dimensions. So it is just kind of so when it says the first level bhumi, that Bodhisattva can go to 100 different realms in a blink of an eye, and not only just go there, but they will do the offering and then receive the teaching, and then all these things in a blink of an eye, then it makes us think, just kind of I'm only in this dimension. Like I'm trying to understand things from this dimension, but we have to understand from a different dimension. So sometimes when I think about this, purify the negative karma of 10, like a titachik means 10,000 eon. That's just an example. And then the second Buddha, Doji Nyingpo Rabdo Jomba, that is a same. And then some of the different Buddha will have if you have a sort of like a specific if you have a negative karma that is collected from the gossiping, and that specific Buddha, such as Tishinshepa Pawelde, there's a one name Tathagata named Pawelde. If you do the prostration and then you do kind of offering and all these things, then your negative karma that is collected from the gossiping, that will all clear away like that. So there are some specific, for example, then there are like a negative karma that is from the killing, negative karma that is from lying, so there are some Buddhas are related to different different negative karma that is, like if you recite those names, then it will clear away those different negative karmas. So anyway, if we go into detail of this, as I said, this is a very vast. It's just kind of like we can just keep going on and on and on. So anyway, so today we will actually go with this one, and then so to represent the 35 Buddha, so today we have the just kind of like a painting, kind of like a photo, just to represent, the 35 Buddha here. So and as I said, when we actually do this, we just kind of do that with the feeling, right? We should add some feeling to it. And so mainly when we actually invite, and of course when we do the invocation, these Buddhas, of course, they will they will come. And that is also, just kind of like like it also said that, whoever has a faith and whoever genuinely invite, they will, they will actually come. That is their commitment, sort of like a. So, but then the question is like, if they come, then why don't I see it? Why don't I feel it? And it is not a Buddha's problem; it is our problem, right? But it is we have to sort of like. If they said they will come, and then maybe my senses are so limited that I'm not able to, but that doesn't mean that if I'm not able to see, if I'm not able to experience, it doesn't mean that they are not here, right? So just kind of like, because this is blessed by Buddha Shakyamuni, and somehow we just put some faith and trust in Buddha Shakyamuni that if we invite, they will come, and then we actually do the prostrations, and then we do the offerings, and we have some sort of like a little bit of, what do you call, to represent, chi cheva. So outer offering, we say outer offering, which is kind of, and then just kind of relatively we make the place a little clean, just kind of there is some, what do you call, preliminary preparation that we have to do every time when we do the practice. It is always something to make the negan chingilapa, means sort of like just clean, just kind of like do something cleansing, and then just I think from the outwardly point of view, if something that is messy and unclean, then maybe it's also not good for your mind, because it's just kind of like when the outside, outside thing kind of resonate with our mind too, so that is why it will make you feel actually better too, right? Just kind of if you make the room kind of like a clean, less messy, and then make it like a little bit of, fresh sand, if something that is like a very dirty smell in your room, I think it will also, your practice will also affected with that. Right? Because we rely very much on our senses, right? So just kind of like it is not only for the sake of Buddha too. It is for the sake of our own practice too, to make our practice more pure and clean. That is why it is always says that just kind of like tidy up, before you do some practice something, you just tidy up your environment, your surrounding, and then, but then just kind of don't take too much kind of like a serious on this kind of tidying up and making things clean. Then sometime we kind of it just kind of like take our interest in a different way, because it's not a priority. It's just kind of like that's what it's called preliminary. It's a secondary, secondary things, but sometimes the secondary things become a priority. So don't make the things priority, just it's a secondary, as like setting up the outer offering, because sometimes we make it so detailed. It's if it is with a good intention, yes, that is good, but that is not important, like necessary. More important is to setting up the cleansing your mind. So this symbolically outer is just a secondary. The primary is to clean your mind with the pure intention. So just kind of like there should be some negative intention, negative thoughts in your mind, and negative emotions. So those are the things to clean also. So just not the outer. Outer is just a symbolic secondary practice. The primary, what is to be clean? That they say tidy up, right? In many of the practice, you will see that before you do this practice, just do the cleansing and tidy up. Like clean your mess. But many times we always think the cleaning the mess is always outside. We don't think about our making our mind and emotion ready, sort of like. So I think that's just a symbol, but also you have to kind of like think, okay, what is my intention? So just try to fabricate, even if you have some intention, and maybe immediately you cannot get rid of it, and just kind of acknowledge that, yes, sort of like, yeah, I think I will not deny that I have this negative intention, I have these negative thoughts, and sometimes we go through, we are all human beings. Sometimes we will have a negative feeling, sometimes we have a negative thoughts. And but the problem is that we kind of deny that we have a negative thought. We just ignore the fact, right? Just kind of like, even though you have a negative thought, you pretend like you don't have it, or just kind of like you deny. No, I don't have it. But it is just not about telling others. It's just kind of like here is being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. It doesn't mean that I'm pretending to be having not a negative thoughts, and you just go on and then tell other people. Then that will create a problem. So you don't have to go and tell other people what you feel. That is like, we are like, of course, being honest with the other is important, but then just kind of people take it in a different way. Like people, what if you are just being too straightforward and honest with them, then your honesty will be taken into different direction. Because they will interpret from their own, what do you call, experience, right? So that is why, yes, it is just kind of the first important thing is being honest with yourself. Just kind of like when you have a negative thoughts, when you have a negative feeling, and just kind of like, yes, I do, sort of like tell yourself, yes, I do that. And then, just kind of like immediately it is very difficult to get rid of that. Just kind of you say, okay, I want to forget it. I don't want this thought. Don't force yourself to actually, make those feelings and negative thoughts go away forcefully, because you won't be able to do it. It will be difficult. It will be difficult to, like, when you are angry, just to calm down is very difficult, right? But it's just kind of like when you are angry and when you're irritated, you just have to know, yes, I am irritated. Yes, I know. I'm going to accept it, But it's just kind of like, if you do apply something else, or suppress it or express it, both is not good, right? If you express your anger to someone, then that's not good. Even you express your anger to yourself is also not fun. And then suppress is, of course, is not good, right? So then what is, how can we actually deal with it? Like there's neither expressing nor suppressing, but there's something called acknowledgement. You just acknowledge it. And just see, this is what I'm feeling right now. And I'm just kind of, yes, I do, I'm feeling this. And that, how can I actually look at it? How can I? So that's kind of like, even that much you can do. That's also a cleansing part, just kind of. So that is, like when we do the practice, you just, not only the surrounding cleansing, also clean your emotion, clean your mind. Try to keep them as clean as possible, But I'm not saying just make it totally clean. Just try to, just kind of like, just say, whatever I'm doing this practice, I want to do it with a pure intention, just pure intention. I want to have a pure intention, pure motivation, and then just kind of like you do some sort of like, chanting also. Many times in our practice, before we actually do the invocation, we always do the sort of like, what is it called? Saji Chilap. Saji Chilap means kind of like a blessing the surrounding, blessing the environment. And so I will also like just kind of do that, and then do the invocation. So you can also join here, and that's just kind of like, keep your intention pure and, motivation clean. And then first we will do the surrounding blessing, which the word is the Tamje Tune Sashita Sema Laso Meva Laditanya Binduya Ranjin Jambo Negyuji. So may just kind of Jambo Ranjin Jambo Negyuji means that everything becomes so smooth, just kind of like it is just kind of like you are connecting, just not that you are making all this, the smooth. It's just kind of like you are generating this sort of like environment that is very clean and smooth, and just kind of no roughness there. And so that's just kind of on the conventional level, we kind of think like that. But then there are also different meaning to it. Sort of what is the mean is Tamje Tunne Sashita means it's just clear from all the what do you call? Completely clear from the completely clear. The word is Ta means everything is pure. So it is just like all the ground, is completely pure. That's the first, actually, the word means. Tamje Tunne Sashita means just completely, it is pure. So that is what you're saying is you're just kind of connecting with this pure. And then it is also has a many different level of meaning too. What is meant by pure? Clear from what? Clear from sort of like, and here you can also apply the, clear from the inherently exist, like from the ultimate reality point of view, and nothing is exists inherently. Nothing is exists in. So that kind of purity is also. So that is why this kind of the sometimes this kind of like a chanting has so many different layers of meanings. So depending on how much you actually kind of know, then each of these chanting will have a difference. So for just kind of generally it will say the whole ground is pure, sort of like it is just like that. Then we don't, if you don't pay attention to what it is mean by it, then you can only get that much. But then if you go into what is purity, pure from what? Pure from, those things, if you look into it, there are so many ways to think, So, means there is no roughness, in the throne, and just kind of like means the segments are like the throne, and the roughness is all the, conceptual mind. So, I will, make everything kind of clear from this conceptual. So my mind is totally in this, So it is just talking about the ground, the surrounding, but then see how much we are going into, just kind of like a kind of state of non-conceptual reality. And so smooth like the palm of your hand. So smooth, sort of, again, sort of like it's not unlevel, it is just all level, one taste, Benduya means sort of like a, lapis, like the lapis lazuli color, and then there's actually adding a little bit of color to it, So just kind of everything becomes so soft and smooth from its own nature. So this is a word for blessing the environment. So before we do the invocation, and it also makes sense that when we invite the Buddha, the where we are inviting also, because they exist in a different dimension, right? That somehow we have to try to go into that dimension to have that kind of interaction, right? So somehow we just kind of make it possible that, okay, I'm going to bless the whole surrounding, that I am going to enter into this dimension of purity. So pure dimension. So we will say that, and then I will say this, and you just think of like that. To this is the first is the blessing the surrounding. Okay. Okay. Tamje dunne saje da sema la so me ba tang. La de tanya bendu ye rangshin jambo ne juro ji. So after we do the blessing the surrounding, then kind of like making the offering available. Okay, so making the offering available, there is also some mantra that Shakyamuni Buddha actually said, if you recite this, mantra, then filling this whole space with all the different offerings. So this is kind of like a, in reality, sort of like we have this little bit of, offering kind of like set here. But in your mind and in your imagination, you can fill the whole space with the different offering. So like a offering of, like a water, offering of, flower, offering of the, kind of like incense, and then just kind of offering of the light, offering of what do you call the perfume, and offering of like many different eatable things, and then also a very soothing nice sound that is surrounding, filling the whole space with this kind of like all the objects. So it is just kind of like every single particles of the, our surrounding and our universe. So this can actually take you really kind of like open, just kind of infinite, just think of infinite offerings. Just kind of this, because the more you actually kind of like manifest in your mind, and these all the offering that you are going to bless, and you're going to make these offerings, right? So this is like before you invite someone, we just kind of clean, right? We just make the surrounding clean and everything, and then what we do is, okay, I'm going to set up, this like a really wonderful offering, to making it, like I want to make a music sort of soothing sound, and and then food to eat and water to drink, or and then to make so beautiful, like flowers are there, and then to make it not smell bad, to so these are outer offerings that you can imagine. So that is the word, which means not only the human, not only the human offering. I'm going to, visualize all these divine offerings, so this offering thing. And in reality, I have a few, but in my imagination, I have an infinite. So, and then there is one mantra that is sort of like, if you actually say this mantra, then what happens is whatever you have visualized, whatever you have imagined, you are blessing, and then making it multiplied. And this is a very important Mahayana practice. Even when we do the offering, just kind of like, even if there is a one fruits offering, and then it can you can just kind of like how many particles in one, right? For example, in one orange, there must be how many particles are there. So then you just multiply one orange with the number of particles involved in that orange, and then each of the particles become like orange. So multiply, one multiplied by two, and then two multiplied by, like 4, sort of like, if you just keep expanding, not only in one direction, going into all the direction and up, and even one flower you are making an offering can actually make it into infinite offerings in your imagination. So this is a very skillful method, because if you make a one offering, you get a merits of only one, right? So if you imagine this one flower multiplied into infinite flowers, then your object of offering become how many? Like infinite. And then you are offering, so it's somehow very skillful means of accumulating merit, because you are actually collecting a merit that much, sort of like a, so that is why when we also make the offering sort of like a setup, this is like mentally setting up, and actually setting up, mentally setting up. So there is a one prayer involvement and that, so I will recite that, and you actually think of like that, okay? Just think as much as possible to make it, set up now. We already set up made the space, and in that space we are going to, imagine all these offerings to be offered to the Buddha that we are going to invite, all right? All right, so now we set up the surrounding, and we made the whole offering in our imagination, and now we are ready to make the invocation. So I will just recite the general invocation, like inviting general Buddha, and then there is actually a specific what do you call, the word that we invite. There is some, you know, like a chanting. Where is that? Okay, here. So I will also recite this invocation of the specific 35 Buddha, you know, into this space that we have already created. Okay, all right. So the word is Malu Simjin Kungi Gwenjushin de Depon de Message Jumzela, one of Malu Yanda Kenjube, Jumden Koche Nedri Sheksu So just generally we are inviting, you know, all the enlightened being possible into this space, okay? Malu Simjin Kungi Gwenjushin de Depon de Message Jumzela, one of Malu Yanda Kenjube, Jumden Koche Nedri Sheksu So now I will do the specific invocation of this 35 Buddha. Tuje Shen Wang Zhen Ben Zhou Gun La An Di Gun Se Je Tuje Sin Jin Bum Xie Ze Tuan San Jie Song Ar Che Tuje Diri Xie Da La Gong Su Su Tuje Di Xie Da La Gong Su Su Rinjian Sing Zhe Ben Me Den De Den Sha Jie Ya Bo San Jie Song Ar Je Tuje Diri Xie Da Dan Zhou Gun La Pen Be Ngu Zhu De La Zui Zhi Shu Chumden Dine Jumba Le Daja Sunama Gewa Den Jisi Chuba Da Kenan Tisi Chumden Shu Su Su Tedara Sowanda Ben Rogun Dan Kebara Rangi Dig Dung Sebe Chiri Kebe Zumdan Tuje Veseja Tame Lene Hangir Dembara Shu. Okay, so now we invite the 35 Buddha, you know, into this space, and then it's just kind of like you don't have to exactly know how they look like, you know, because sometimes our mind goes into, okay, so there are 35 Buddha, so how do they look like, what is their hand doing, what is the mudra doing, and then we think those are very important, but it is not important. Just kind of had a feeling. You know, sometimes we have that kind of feeling, right? That's kind of like like if somebody is behind you and you don't see them, you don't, you know, just you have okay, somebody is just right, you know, behind me. And then, you know, just kind of like, so that's kind of like in that space, you know, that we are in this pure space. So that is why it is saying we are not inviting the enlightened being into the impure state, okay? So in the pure state that you have set up all these offerings, and so my mind is also in that pure state. You know, I'm also in that pure state, and the offerings are also pure. The surrounding is also pure. The, you know, the Buddha that I have invited also is there. So it's just kind of like you are like in that space, okay? You are in that space. And then just kind of like, you know, we sort of like, what happened is, you know, just kind of like, they are all here, and then I'm going to do this, you know, purification process. So this, when we do the purification process, so there are like, you need a 4 force, or you need a 4 power to purify your negative karma. Earlier I mentioned, you know, just kind of there is a benefit in reciting the name of and hearing the name of these Tathagatas and doing the, you know, prostration and offering, but somehow you need some other factors, right? Other forces to make it work. So one of the things that is to make it work is called the power of kind of reliance. You know, Tengito, that's what we say, Tengito. Tengito is kind of like, ten means base, actually, the foundation. So it is like the power of foundation, power of reliance, power of base. So those are kind of same name, you know. So this Tengi top, that factor, that force, is something kind of like you have to have sort of like a, and that is kind of like, we always say, what is the Tengi top? What is the, you know, that reliance force? We always say the refuge and the bodhicitta, right? Refuge and bodhicitta, sort of like a, so refuge and bodhicitta, yes, of course, how they become the reliance force, how they become the base, is because it is almost like intention. Like if you look at, take it as an intention or motivation. So it is just like a, you know, like a refuge is like some sort of like having a vision, right? You have a vision, and you are, you know, you actually kind of like you go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, because that is also ultimate. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is my own, right? It is my own, what do you call? My own like enlightened nature, like your own kind of quality, your own, you know, that, what do you call, the all the bodhisattvas that are reaching towards, you know. So these are like when you actually have a refuge, means you are actually sort of like having a vision, you know, you have a vision. And then a bodhicitta is like a mission, you know. Mission is like a, for the benefit of all sentient being, may I become a Buddha. So that is my mission. My mission is to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit, to benefit all sentient beings. So that is a bodhicitta, right? So that kind of like a ground. So that is the reliance, means you need to, you know, when you do something, you need to have a very, what you would call, very strong foundation, right? Strong base, strong reliance. So the refuge and bodhicitta is the reliance force. And then, you know, not only reliance, then the another second factor of the force is called the remorse or regret. Sort of like a remorse, sort of like not in a negative way, but it is just sort of like a, you acknowledge that I have so many negative karma, you know. So this second force is more sort of like a, acknowledging. It is just like a, you know, it is, you are not pretending that you are pure. So you are accepting, you are actually acknowledging that I have, like I am impure in a way. So that is very important, because if you don't feel and think that you have some sort of negative karma, then you cannot purify, right? So you just, because you have to actually acknowledge that. You have to kind of, you know, kind of like you have to acknowledge and you have to accept that, yes, I do. You know, I have that. I am, you know, I need purification. So it's, if you pretend like, you know, I'm pure, I'm perfect, then why do you need purification? Right? There's nothing to be pure, purified, because you don't acknowledge, you don't think that you have some impurities. So it is important to, you know, remorse, force of remorse means regret, but it is not a guilt. That's a big difference, you know. Sometimes people think that, oh, then it is teaching us you have to have a remorse, you have to have a regret. Means I have to feel guilty, you know. That's not like a, feeling guilty is totally different from feeling kind of accepting and acknowledging, you know, acknowledging your mistake. For example, if you acknowledge, if you don't accept your mistake as a mistake, then how you are going to, you know, kind of confess it, right? You will not confess it. There is a lack of honesty in there, because you don't, you know, you pretend like, you know, you didn't do. So it is just almost like you don't accept your mistake as a mistake, and when you say sorry, that's not a real sorry, right? Because you don't accept you did some mistake. That is the power of remorse. Means you have to have this kind of like you have to accept that you made a mistake. You should accept that I have so many impurity. I have some negative karma. Yes, I do have that negative karma. Sort of like, so that is the force that you need on that ground. Okay, that intention ground, you need the second force, which is kind of like a force of remorse or force of regret. And then, just kind of once you have that in that ground, you are actually ready to, right? You are ready to sort of like do the kind of purification. And then the next, what do you call, next force comes. The next force is called the remedy and actual antidote. So reciting these 37 Buddhas' name and then doing prostration to them and making offering to them, that is the actual remedy now. Now you are applying the antidote. So with these, see now, with these forces, you already have that forces, right? So the ground, you are on that ground and you are ready to actually, you're not ready, you already accepted that you have many impurity things to, pure. So then you apply the remedy. So then it will work. So once you apply this, when you are reciting the 35 Buddha's name and doing prostration to them, that is the actual remedy. So the force of remedy. And then after the forces remedy is applied, then what happens is we have to do something that from now on, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Right? So that is called the resolution. So you're making some kind of commitment saying that this is my resolution, that I'm never going to do it again. So that is the last force. Once you apply these 4 forces to the negative karma, any negative karma can be purified. See, so that is the real sorry. We don't know, like we make a mistake, and with the pure intention, so you'd say, like when you have the bodhicitta and the refuge, it's like you have a pure intention, base is strong, right? And you are actually regret. You accept that I made a mistake, that was mistake. I know that there was mistake, that's not good for me, that's not good for you, and there was a mistake. So see, now these 2 forces there. And then actually remedy is you apply taking action, or you're expressing it verbally, or you're just kind of physically going to them taking a flower, or whatever you're doing. That is the remedy, actual remedy. So with these 3 force, and then just kind of like you will be completely forgiven when you say, I will not do that again. Right? I will not do that ever again. My resolution, my commitment. See, now that mistake is purified. Right? So that is how the negative karma is actually purified. So this is, the 4 forces. And so sometime to make you easy to remember, I always kind of use the 4R. Like the first one is reliance. The force of reliance. And the second one is the force of regret. And then third one is the force of remedy, and then the fourth one is the force of resolution. So just think it that way. And so if you apply those 4 forces, then all the negative karma. So here now, where we are right now, we have a clear ground, right? Like reliance, force of reliance is there. And then the force of remorse, sort of like then if we are doing it, force of remorse, just general karma, just general karma, you can make it as big as you want, okay? You can make it as big as you want, like just kind of like all the negative karma that I have created all my lives. Maybe just generally like, that will be more powerful for you, just because you are including, right, all the negative karma that, and it is just, and then maybe we will think that, I didn't know what I did. But you don't have to know, but somehow, you just feel that you have the negative karma from past life, we accept that, yes, I do. And so that's kind of like, if you keep like that, then it will be a good sort of like a remorse, or like regret, sort of like a thing like that. So anyway, first we do the reliance, right? The force of reliance, and even in the chanting, of the Fungu Sumbe Do. So it begins with the refuge. So I will do the refuge here. So usually we do the Sanje Chodan Soje Chonamla, right? Like that's going for refuge, and you know. But here, sort of like Tu Tadu, right? Sort of like Tu Tadu Lama La Jabsu Chivo, Sanje La Jabsu Chivo, Chola Jabsu Chivo, Gendun La Jabsu Chivo. Sort of like, so you are actually doing the refuge, okay? And then in the word, it's a Tu Tadu. There's also a very powerful word. You know, this, why they put it there, Tu Tadu, Tu means time. You know, Tadu means sort of like, Tadu means always. So this, within that, Tu Tadu means sort of like, it is not like a sometime, you know, it's the opposite of sometime. Sort of like it is like if you are feeling like I will go for refuge to Guru, I will go for refuge to Buddha, I will go for refuge to Dharma, I will go for refuge to Sangha, sort of like so you are doing it right now, right? And then if you are thinking, okay, sometime I will go, means sometime you won't go, right? So Tritagdu has a kind of like always. I will always like that. So I will always go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So that is also means always means no matter what, no matter when. Sort of like that kind of feeling you have to add there. And so this is also sort of like there is a bodhicitta practice in there too, because you are going for refuge to Guru, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So you are going for refuge there to achieve it, right? To be able to achieve it, to able to experience it. And then that one is also for the benefit of all sentient beings, right? You are doing this not just for one person's benefit. And sometimes some of the Tibetan practitioners they add different word in there, like Tuyutadu, sort of like Dadam Magen Simje Tamje, sort of like me and all sentient being always go for refuge to Guru, always go for refuge to Buddha, always go for refuge to Dharma and Sangha, like that. So that is also to make it more powerful, So sometimes like Dadam Magen Simje Tamje, right? Dadam Magen Simje, I and all sentient beings, sort of like so. You are actually representing the all sentient beings, sort of like you are doing this on behalf of all sentient beings. So that also makes you a little bit kind of like your purpose is more bigger and greater, sort of like instead of I am going to, right? So it is like but of course you are also like saying I am means yes, I want to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. But then Dada Magesimje Tamje means me and all mother sentient beings, means then it is a little bit more sort of like on behalf of, right? Sort of like it is almost saying on behalf of all the sentient beings, I'm going for refuge to Buddha, so, and we are all going to, so somehow it is it will make a little bit more powerful. So now by thinking that way, so sort of like we will actually say, I will say this and you can just put a feeling to it, okay? So that is the force of reliance, okay? Chola Jabzo Chewon Gen Dun La Jabzo Che Wo Tu Da Do Lama La Jabzo Chewo San Je La Jabzo Chewo Chola Jabzo Chewon Gen Dun La Jabzo Che Wo. Okay, so here we do the reliance, right? The force of reliance, and then the actual prostration started from there, So the first Buddha is Shakyamuni Buddha, Shakyatupa. And so this, if I go into too much detail into explaining all these Buddhas, then it will be a little bit time consuming. So what I will do here is just kind of like I will recite this, and then you will also, get to hear the name of the 35 Buddha, and then it will be also sort of like a oral transmission that you get it, from me, and then I will also kind of teach you a little bit of technique to some like a Mahayana skillful method, So Mahayana skillful method, maybe you have known this because when you do the Lama Tsongkhapa, you always say this, sort of like I think, not Lama Tsongkhapa, I think it's Sangjun, right? So it is when we do the prostration, so this 35 Buddha is the object of our prostration, right? So this 35 Buddha, so sometime as a skillful method, then this, don't make only 35, okay? So again, duji tena dunye sanje, so that is one of the Samatha Bhadra, Bodhisattva Samatha Bhadra has this kind of, if you look at how the Bodhisattva Samatha Bhadra way of doing the accumulating the merit is like so amazing. And somehow, if you look at really, where does the Bodhisattva Samatha Bhadra came from? Samatha Bhadra is a kind of like an alien. Okay, he's not from this world, this planet. So when Buddha was giving a teaching, there are few bodhisattvas comes, right? The few bodhisattvas, sort of like they are in the divine form. So, this Samatha Bhadra has a very unique technique of, making the accumulations of the, So this, even during that time when Samatha Bhadra way of, kind of doing the prostration, it is very inconceivable for people. Even for us, maybe if you say, on the one particle, right? One particle, like the amount of the whole existent particle exists. Just on one single particle, like on one single Buddha, the amount of the Buddha, that is like as many as the particle. What do you think? Like, what does that mean? So, I think His Holiness the Dalai Lama wrote a book on that too, right? Universe on the single, atom, right? It's just like, so that kind of like so the object of the, object of where your prostration is going on is infinite. So this is a very skillful method. And you can do that actually, because our mind has no limit. Our mind can just kind of think that 35 Buddha, then this 35 Buddha, each Buddha is multiplied by infinity. See, now when you actually doing a one prostration, you are actually doing not to the 35 Buddha, you are doing prostration to the infinite Buddha in the universe, throughout the universe. And then the person who is doing the prostration, yourself. So for example, the prostration you do the physical prostration. Then there is a verbal prostration. There is a mental prostration, right? So there's like, when you are actually doing a prostration, it is not just one prostration. You are doing physical, prostration. And then when you say cha tse lo, sort of like verbally, what you're saying is you're also saying verbally cha tse lo means I pay homage, I do go for prostration. And mentally also you are doing, right? Mentally I'm also paying respect and bowing and then doing the prostration. So in one just kind of prostration, actually you are doing the three, right, together. But not only that. Means so now, sometimes it is for me, it is helpful for me to think like, for example, when you're doing the physical prostration, right? Our physical body is doing the prostration, right? When we do the physical body translation, how many cells in our body can you understand, right? This is like scientists will say trillions of, right? As many as the star in our solar system or universe, that much amount of cell exists in our body, right? There's so many cells, like it's like whatever, it's a good cell, bad cell, whatever, right? But anyway, if we look into, even just for the body, I'm not talking from the, like emotion or mind, just physically, when you're physically doing prostration, all these body cells are also bowing. So, this each and every cell of your body, you should identify with yourself. Okay, these are all me. See, not just one body is doing prostration. All the single cell, each and every cell in my body represent me, because my body represents me, right? When your body do something, this like the big, gross body do something, you do something, right? The same thing, when you allow each and every cell of your body to do something, you have a right to do that, because this each and every cell of your body is yours, right? Like your body is yours, right? Your eyes is yours. So you allow and you make it. So just kind of like it, even one single prostration, I will, make my, like as many particles as my body has, I will, these all particles actually represent me. That's my body. So I'm doing prostration to this infinite Buddha with the infinite body. So even just kind of, in reality, you're just doing one prostration. But when you allow each and every cell of your body bowing and to the enlightened, how much merits and accumulation you will actually create, right? One body doing a prostration, then, infinite bodies of, doing prostration accumulate infinite karma. So, if you know, you know. Right? It's like many things that's why it is called the great, Mahayana tradition is called the great. It is called great not for nothing. It is great because of something like this. Because it's just kind of like when you are doing a prostration, normally maybe you're just doing prostration. Okay, I did 3 prostration. Right? So if you allow each and every cell of your body also doing the same prostration, what do you think? How many prostration you did? Right? But people are just, sometimes they stuck with a little bit of number, like, oh, I did 100,000 prostration, And sometimes it is not so, what do you call, kind of like not so much kind of like, I don't take that as so much shocking news, kind of, or the good, like, oh wow, like, because if I think it from a Mahayana point of view, even when I did a 1 prostration, I'm doing 1 trillion so prostration. Right? So it is just in one short period of time, So then there are so many different other ways to do that too, because sometimes you apply that in times, So object is also not just the present Buddha, past Buddha, future Buddha. Then the person who is doing the prostration, then sometime on behalf of all the past lives. How many past lives you might have, right? Beginningless time. In the beginningless time, you have so many sentient beings. And you are here representing and doing the prostration, and this, you just kind of, like, you actually mentally think, on behalf of all this, all my past lives, all my past lives, today I got an opportunity to do the prostration for them. I will do for them. And they are all, I will represent them on behalf of all of them. And future, how many lives I will have in future? All the future, lives that I will have, on behalf of them, I will do too. See now, from a time point of view also, there are so many different things to apply there. It just, you can add so much feelings to it, and you can make your one prostration worth of everything. Right? So that is the skillful method of the Bodhisattva. And then, just kind of like sometimes also it is very important. Like for example, in some culture, we respect our ancestors, right? We respect our ancestor. And there are some prayers that you do for the ancestors too. And one time, I was just kind of like, I was talking, giving some talk, because I took some group of people for pilgrimage. And they're like, most people are from Japan. And then, just kind of, I was there and I kind of explained, today we are in this very special place. And I remember just saying that, I said, maybe many of your ancestors in the past, they were all, having faith in Buddha. And they really want to come here. But because of the circumstances, because of the time, they were not able to come here. And I said, today you are here. So you should represent. Because you are carrying their DNA. Physically you are carrying their DNA. So you somehow, piece of them is here already. So I said you should include them, and you should also thank for your ancestor, and you, on behalf of all this. And I just said this, and they're just kind of like, and everybody were, actually their pilgrimage become more actually. It's just like, it's not just one person is doing the pilgrimage. It is just like they were doing on behalf of their ancestor, because they, respect their ancestor. They have always, you go to their home, they always have their ancestors, photos, and then, annually they go to their, like the, cemetery to, honor them and stuff like that. So this is just kind of, I remember that incident. The same thing I think we apply in our daily practice too, right? Because if you look at the reality of our body, this body, came from our parents. And then, there are two parents, right? I just saw this somewhere online, which is they are making a mathematics. It's amazing to see your existence, your body exists in this world because of your two parents. And then your two parents has four parents, right? So they're each of them four. So then it just goes to multiply. So then it is just like, it is saying, your body right now exists here, takes a lot of people. If you go back in time, right? So, but in a way, it is true that our body carry that cell and DNA, whatever, whether you like it or not, but you carry that. And then it is also piece of them, right? So when you do the prostration, also sometime mentally you involve them. That's not only your past life, but it is also your ancestors, right? That's kind of like and sometimes when you do like even one prostration, you are benefiting not only you, you're benefiting so many others too. So these are very kind of Mahayana, very open, kind of like skillful. Those skillful, just if you apply, then like we will get so much things from our practice. So I will just do the 35 Buddha prostration here as an actual remedy for our purification. Okay, so please just kind of like listen, and then the blessing. Oh yeah, I forgot. Then also like I just said the physical body prostration, right? Then there's a verbal prostration. So you can actually, all the bodies that, like infinite bodies, they will, you say, like imagine that they are all saying the same word also, like a lot of accumulation, So then, just kind of, you can apply so many different things. I just kind of mention a little bit, okay? So I will say this 35 Buddha's name, and then through the sound energy, it enters into your ears, which means you are getting this transmission blessing of the 35 Buddha's name, okay? Dijin Shepa Ra Jumba Yang Dang Pan Zobe Sanje Shagya Tuba La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Doji Ningbe Ra Don Jumba La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Rinjin We Zhou La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Luang Ge Gyabo La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Pa Yue De La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Be Ge La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Rinjin Me La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Rinjin Da We La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Tongwa Den Yue La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Rinjin Da Wa La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Tima Me Wa La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Beijing La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Changba La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Changbeijing La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Chula La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Chule La La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Beisang La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Zhanden Be La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Siji Taye La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Webe La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Nyangye Mebe Be La Cha Cha. Dijin Shepa Seme Ge Po La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Me Do Be La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Changbe We Se Namba Rebe. Mambara Kemba Ya Mambara Kemba La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Be Me We Se Namba Rebe. Mambara Kemba La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Norbe La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Dembe Be La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Tsembe Shindo Yong Ra La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Wangbe Do Ge Yan Zen Ge Gyabo La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Shindo Nambara Nembe Be La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Yule Shindo Nambara Gewa La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Nambara Nembe Shegwe Be La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Hunen Nawa Gwebe Be La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Rinjin Beme Nambara Nemba La Cha Cha Lo. Dijin Shepa Da Chumba Yang Da Bo Zobe Sanje Cedang Rinpoche Cedang Bema La Rabdu Shube Riwangi Gyabo La Cha Cha Lo. Okay, so until here we did the prostration to the 35 Buddha, and then in the translation I think it also said, right, which is the translation?
The big prayer book, page 61.
Okay. So I will just read it in Tibetan, right? So Tedala sobe chuji jiding kam tamje na dijin shewa da chumba yang da hong zobe sanje kan jinye ji shude so shin shebe sanje chumde de teda tamje da la gong so reciting, doing prostration to 35 Buddha, and Tedala soba means not only them, including them, all the, Buddhas, right? So, in the translation it says like that, right? I will look here. Where's the translation?
Bottom of page 63.
Okay, page number 4.
Different version from the
Is it the bottom of page 63?
previous.
Page 3, huh?
The
Yeah,
online
Tedala
version.
Soba, right? All those you 35 Buddhas and others, as many Tathagatas, Arhat, perfectly completed Buddha are there existing. There are existing, sustaining and residing in all the world system of the 10 direction. So all you Buddha Bhagwan, please pay attention to me. So that is the Tibetan word. Okay. Then it's just kind of like you are actually saying, please pay attention to me, listen to me. And that is actually a confession. So kind of like you are, making this 35 Buddha and all the Buddhas now, just kind of like I'm going to confess, confess my negative karma, sort of like that, okay? Dedatamje dala gonsu su, dagis, kewan didan, kewa tome tama machibana, kowa na kowe. Kowa na kor, dagi kewa didan, kewa tome tama machibana, kowa na kowe, kene tamji do dugbe le kiba tang. So it is in this life and in all states of rebirth in which I have circled in samsara throughout beginnings, life's life, whatever negative actions I have created, right? Kidu tsewa tang means made other do it or create it. Kibala jesu yedama tang, and then not only that, sometimes I rejoice in the creation of that negative karma. So that is kind of like how we collect the karma. Sometimes we do it directly, and sometimes we do it indirectly, make other people to do it, and sometimes like a negative karma, some other people are doing it. If you're rejoicing for it, and you're involved in it. Right? Those are kind of dangerous ones, because sometimes people do, like if somebody kills someone and then you just rejoice for it, that's good. And you genuinely rejoice for that, you're actually getting a killing karma of that person. You didn't actually kill that person or animal, you get a karma because you rejoice for that. That. So that is what it is saying. Rejoice in the creation. Jesu Yerama. Choeje Koram means whatever possession of stupa. Choeje Koram means like sometimes if you steal the things that is people offer to the to the offering to the stupas and temples and things like that. That's what it's saying. Choeje Koram. Gendugi Koram means whatever possession of sangha and possession of sangha of the 10 direction. Choju Jindigi Gendugi Kor Chobada. So that is again that 10 direction that I have appropriated, right? And then something that I have actually kind of forcefully, Chokwa means forcefully taking for yourself, and then made other to, appropriate, right? I don't know that word. Or rejoice in the appropriation. So maybe it is to Chokwa means to snatch, right? To snatch, or taking, or stealing, sort of, that's what it is saying. So, Kidu Tsebadam, Chokbadam, Chodu Chubadam, Chokbala Jesu Yiramaham, so rejoice for that. And some meba, some machiba nge lekibada. So this is 5 heinous, 5 heinous kind of like action, negative karma. So kidu tsewata, kidu tsewata, kibala jesu yerama, same sort of like engage in this 5 heinous action. So what are the 5 heinous? It's just kind of different. Maybe it's difficult for us to gain, but it is sometimes it is like many people get it. Like for example, paseva, maseva means sort of like killing your own father is a heinous, and killing your own mother is a heinous. Paseva, maseva, and tishinsheva kula chachuma means if you believe the Buddha, maybe that's a little bit difficult for us because we don't see Buddha. But then there was one Zen saying sometime I was very shocked to hear when the first time when I was in America, some people are saying if you see Buddha on the road, kill him. I was like, what? What does that mean? It's some sort of like a Zen koan or something, sort of like, I don't know that, I didn't understand, I still don't understand that part, Maybe they are talking about the namdo, the conception, like, but sometime maybe, I don't know, that is kind of like when you, like we have a saying, like, to talk to the God, like people who believe in God, to talk to the God is normal, Just that what everybody does, people who believe in God, they always talk to God. But, then when God starts telling you something, that's not normal. Right? Then you have to be careful a little bit. Because it is, it's like, it's just normal for everybody, that sometimes even for the Buddhist people, like, when go to the prayer, they talk to the, like the statue, they just talk to the statue. But then, some cases maybe it is different, I guess, Like, I just recently saw one of the very old video from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then maybe for a special being like him, maybe that's a little different, Like, and there must be some other purpose that why he is saying that, that he was saying that he went to this one church in Spain, like this Fatima, like a Catholic church, and then there was a, Mother Mary statue, and he said, I pay tribute and respect, and then he was walking away, and then then he looked back and he said the statue of Mary smiled at him. He said that, and I was like, maybe that's a special case. But then there are many people using the same thing, right? Like the pure vision, like, oh, I see this, God telling me this, and this, Avalokiteshvara telling me this, and Buddha was telling me that. So it's so I don't know. There's a very thin line. There's a very thin line between having a pure vision or a pure delusion. Right? It's very difficult to differentiate between the delusion and the pure vision, and so it's kind of like I always think like when just kind of when the God start talking to you, be careful. It's just kind of like, and people just go on. Sometimes people do that, right? Like as an excuse, and I don't know if that is really happening. I am going to kill you because God tell me to kill you. That's dangerous, right? Who's really they're telling you? Really God, you can hear something, and sometimes those people can become very dangerous. Just kind of like because they were guided by some unknown sort of voice or some unknown figure that they lead into harming themselves. And sometimes people actually kill themselves too, thinking that, oh, somebody is telling me to jump, or to kill yourself, jump from the bridge or jump, just something like that. So that is kind of like, if it is like, I always think that if it is something harmful or dangerous, maybe delusion. Something that is helpful for your practice, maybe pure vision. But anyway, why I'm saying this is here is, Tijin Kula Tachungwa, right? So killing Buddha. Or so Rajomba Seva, that is the fourth one, right? Rajomba means Arhat, killing the Arhat. And then what is the other one? Gendungi, I think that is like the dividing the Sangha is the heinous crime. So that's also we have to be careful. Because Sangha doesn't necessarily mean the monk Sangha and non-Sangha, I think. It's just kind of like creating division between the practitioners can be very dangerous too. So these are the Samegile, right? Samajibang le kiwa tang kidu tseba ta kiwa la jesu yi was. So whichever among the 5 actions of the immediate retribution I have done cause to be done, and rejoice in the doing of whichever part of the 10 non-virtuous action I have engaged. So this is kind of generally saying, right? Migewa chu lege lam yang taba lang wal shuba da ju du tseba da juba la jesu yi rang lege dewa kange dene 다 심지에 war 치와 함 된르기네서 치와 미다 유도 치와 유타고도 게마 라로게마 하즈링도 나게 뭐뭐 맞던 다와 로봇 좀 봐요 상계 중앙은 예바 메지 봐요 레게 좀 강라바 대다 탐제. So these are just kind of just generally counting the, the 10 non-virtuous action I have engaged, cause others to engage, and rejoice in the engaging in. Whatever I have created, being obscure by these karma, cause me and sentient beings to be born in the hell realm, in the animal realm, in the preta realm, in a religious kind of country, so barbarian country, right, as a barbarian. For as long life God with the imperfect faculties, holding wrong views and not being pleased with the Buddha's descent, so kind of like going against the Buddha's existence. In the presence of the Buddha Bhagavan, so this is now I'm going to do the, confess. So this is the confession part, right? Actual confession. 대다 탐제 상제 좀 내는데 이제 소주가 전도주가 방도주가 세마주가 캠베스가 대다게 전화 төл로 차소 미자 미 차소 미차보 미베도 렌제장 최전 동바 길라소. So until here doing the resolution part, right? So what is it saying in the English translation is saying that not being able to descend in the presence of the Bhagavan Buddhas, right? Buddha Bhagavan, who are transcendental wisdom, who are eyes, who are witness, who are valid, and who see with the omniscient consciousness. I'm admitting that, admitting and confessing all these negativities. I will not conceal them or hide them, and from now on in the future, I will abstain and refrain from committing them again. So that is the resolution part, right? Then again, please, all the Buddha, please pay attention to me again, So this is now it is just saying, please pay attention to me. I'm not totally bad. That's what again. I have an impurity, but again I have some good karma also. So that is part of rejoicement. Just kind of like it is like when you do the confession purification practice, don't always put yourself down. So this is also, you have to put yourself a little bit up too, right? Just like if you keep saying I'm bad, then it's just kind of like you will go into some sort of like a depression mode, right? So just to lift yourself up from that, then it is saying, please listen to me, Buddha. I have also done something good too in the past. So, something I have good, done. So it is saying, in this life and all other states of rebirth in which I have circled in samsara throughout beginningless lives, whatever roots of virtues I have created by generosity, even as little as giving just one mouthful of food to a being born in animal realm, whatever roots of virtue I have created by guarding morality, whatever roots of virtues I have created by following pure conduct, whatever roots of virtue I have created by fully ripening sentient beings, whatever roots of virtue I have created by generating bodhicitta, and whatever roots of virtues I have created by my unsuppressed transcendental wisdom, all these assemble and gather, combined together, I fully dedicate to the unsuppressed and unexcelled, that higher than the high, that superior to the superior. Thus, I completely dedicate to the highest, perfectly complete enlightenment. So that is the, dedication. So I rejoice for the good things that I have done, and there's like so many, benefit in rejoicement, so I will not say that today. but then, you know, rejoicement, and then also you just not just rejoicing for the good thing that you have done and other people have done, and then, you know, just kind of dedicate it for the benefit of, you know, enlightenment, dedicate it for the benefit of well-being of other. That's the best dedication that you can do. Okay, so give it a hang about that, right? More kios, just as previous the Jidar Majumbe, right? Jidar Debe, Sanje Jumde, then Nagino, the Jidar Majum, Sanje Jumde, then Nagino, Jida Tada Shube, Sanje Jumde, then Nagino, Zebatation, the Dagi Kios. So it is just kind of taking an example, like all the past Buddhas, how they have dedicated, I will dedicate like that. So that is the meaning, right? So I fully dedicate to the unsuppressed, unsexcelled, higher than higher, superior to the Suddhas. I completely dedicate to the highest, perfectly complete enlightenment. Just as the previous Buddha Bhagwan have fully dedicated, just as the future Buddha Bhagwan will dedicate, right? And just as the presently abiding Buddha Bhagwans are fully dedicating, like that, I too dedicate fully. So that is the dedication. So that is the, now it is just like a prayer. May all my negative karma be, right? I confess all my negatives individually. I rejoice in the merit. I urge and implore all the Buddhas to grant my request. May I receive highest, most sublime, transcendental wisdom. So the meaning is to the conqueror, the best of human, those who are living in the present time, those who may have lived in the past, and those who will likewise come, to all those who have qualified as vast as an infinite ocean, with hand folded, I approach for refuge. So this is the Kumbusumbe Do. So three piles or three heaps, right? It is you know, one of the, what do you call it, Bodhisattva. That's called the Bodhisattva confession. So this so this, you know, it will kind of like a Mahayana way of doing the confession, purification practice, which is you know, said in the Pumbusumbe Do. So Lama Okay, so with this we are completed, done with the oral transmission of the Pumbusumbe Do. So just kind of like I give you the just kind of roughly simple meaning of this and how to practice. And so today we are done with this morning session on the 35 Buddha prostration and confession. And so you have now the oral transmission of that, and then time to time just kind of do the practice, because it is it's not sort of like a commitment, but you know, sometime just kind of do that and you will feel lighter. Right? It's just kind of like if you don't do the whole what do you call the, you know, sutra, it's just kind of like you know, doing the prostration to the 35 Buddha, or just even one of them, you know, just bringing that. It's kind of like it will help you to bring to purify many negative karma. And you know, when you purify negative karma and collect a lot of merit, then we say the one who is purified and has a lot of accumulations of the merit, their all wish will come true. Right? So it is just like things to make. If you are like something, then, you know, of course, when we like want to do something and it's not accomplishing, means something is obstructing, or something is being obstacle. So obstacle comes from our negative karma. So when you actually purify those negative karma, then sometime it will help you, you know, And it is this help is not only on the short term, it is a long term help. It is just don't limit yourself, your existence as this physical entity. Of course you have a physical entity here, but our existence is not just limited to this physical existence, right? It's just long run, means just kind of like our existence go far and beyond. So sometimes we think that, oh, this is not helping me at this very this very physical existence level, then maybe that's not useful. We think like that, and just then our mind is very limited, like thinking I'm only this one. You are not only this one, you are much more than this physical entity. I think we are all just kind of physical entities, just one part, right? So anyway, Kanshipa Teta Tamji Sanlena Papa Chinenya Kadi Chung Shu Dagi Jinye Sabi Kiawati Tena Dwa Pungla Kampena Kebaranji Zun Luksan Trapa Yitembe Nyingbo Rindu Seche Shu.
Mandala offering?
Short one is Saji Pegi Traje Medota Rirabi Jini Yemati Sanje Shindu Miti Rugu Namda Shingla Jogora Shu
Back cover of the short prayer book, the final dedication prayer.
Thank you.